This is Joe Biden.
High quality options. The public option will be available in my plan. We'll make sure it's not quality. We'll make sure it's only affordable. Quality is affordable. Right now, if you make 400% above the poverty line, for a family of four, that's about $100,000. You don't get any help in paying for your premium insurance that you may buy on the exchange. And the Biden plan will lift that cap so that no family will have to pay more than 8.5% of their income for their health insurance premium, period. And for folks in the working class that are below 400, they will, in fact, increase their...
Okay, so first of all, that's still actually a pretty good amount of money, over 8% of your income. And if you're a family, we actually know that even if you're relatively comfortable, a dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. We also know that one of the reasons that there has actually been an increase in resentment along class lines that has been racialized is things like going to a place where Medicaid has been expanded and people are missing the Medicaid expansion cutoffs and then having to buy horrible overpriced plans, getting penalized for it in the private marketplace. And as a final point, and this is another thing, a lot of people, whined from the beginning, like, oh, why didn't you talk more about Biden? Because people who watch this show and shows like it don't like Joe Biden. That's why we were critiquing someone like Andrew Yang. Who cares? No, Andrew Yang is not a subject that needs to be covered as much for 65-year-olds watching on CNN. That's just silly. People in this universe, this is what they're concerned about. But I will say, and they were concerned about Warren. That's why Warren needed to be critiqued. That's why and so on. Maybe if she doesn't endorse Bernie, some people will finally think it's okay to slightly criticize her, whatever that emotional hangup is. But that being said, I mean, if you're watching this and you happen to be somebody who's just all of a sudden stumbled across left-wing YouTube and you're kind of like lean Biden, first of all, I'd like to say, hi, you, one person. Is this somebody that you think can handle himself? Forget just even the debate stage with Donald Trump, getting interviewed every night, getting rapid-fire questions. Just listen to that syntax and what he's doing there. He is not equipped to run for president. I'll do the queen clap emoji. He is not mentally or physically equipped to run for president. If you nominate him, you are taking a massive risk. Massive. I don't want to be the one there with Donald Trump with a 5-point national lead and Joe Biden saying, I was the guy that created the coronavirus by accident. Can we please not do that?
And just the way he talks about that plan, like just the way in contrast to what Bernie can say, is just unbelievable, especially when you look at these exit polls where in all 16 states, everyone chose single payer, even though they might have voted for Biden. Like just trying to articulate that, it sounds like you're at some sort of awful like health insurance seminar.
Yeah,
you are.
You literally are.
And it's not even like a wonk policy person who just, lives in DC and only talks to other policy wonks. It's 78-year-old Joe Biden
trying to talk to voters.
Explain it. Yeah. Yeah. And Trump going up there and saying, oh, he's going to bring back the individual mandate. That means he's going to raise your taxes or you're going to get a penalty. You don't want that, do you, folks?
Yeah, why didn't you fix premiums when you were in office doing this?
Yeah.
I was the guy who, in fact, said that, well, my time's up.
My time's up.
Go for it, Democratic Party. Very smart. Very smart. If you are one of 3 people watching this, and hopefully it's growing, or you have someone you need to send it to, if you have a relative or somebody who's engaged with Biden, maybe they're concerned about Social Security and Medicare, but it is not going to come through all of the laudable and important work on the man's devastating policy legacy. It is really going to come down to, can we be honest? Do you think this man has the cognitive physical capacity to do this campaign? And anybody who's being honest, who watches some of these clips, he does not. Does not.
I mean, I would still be very invested in this race if he wasn't obviously in cognitive decline, but it makes this situation way more acute. So if you see a Bernie bro on Twitter a bit upset these days, just basically interpreting reality about Joe Biden's state, you give him some leeway.
Don't ever complain about any Bernie stuff to me ever.
Also,
I don't want to hear any whining. I don't care.
I'm really looking forward to the next debate when it's just them two on stage and Bernie in attack mode.
I wish
Biden.
it was tonight.
I wish it wasn't on a Sunday. Not because I don't like working on a Sunday, just because I think maybe more people will see it on a Sunday. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, but I'm still looking forward to what are the narrators going to go? They're going to say, how are you going to pay for single payer?
Yeah, but I mean,
exactly. Because I was the guy who Nelson Mandela told me that single payer just won't work.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing that they learned last time was you don't want to make an obvious coronation. You can coronate somebody that you want to have the continuity of power. So, it's going to be Biden, folks. We're going to ram him down your throat eventually. But we need to fix, compared to 2016, is we can't make it so obvious. So we're going to trot out these other losers, basically, and let it pretend like this is actual contest. And that serves the benefit of taking the focus off Biden because, any focus on Biden tells you what we've been talking about already about him, which is that this guy can't make it. And it's amazing. It's worked very well. I mean, we should maybe just talk about this thing, how everyone's saying Bloomberg wasted all this money. Bloomberg
he didn't.
Nailed it, guys.
Yeah.
Bloomberg came in right as it was about as the race started narrowing. So again, more attention time devoted to Biden. And that attention time got soaked up to Bloomberg, rightly so, because he's an authoritarian menace, and thank God that you can't just buy an election like that.
Yeah.
Right.
But this he failed in that, but he succeeded in his most important thing, which was stopping Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely.
go to the
100%.
transcripts from each of the debates he was
100%.
in and see how many times he references Trump as opposed to Sanders. It's all Sanders.
Yeah, he's there, and of course he cries a little bit because it's an ego bruise, but it was mission accomplished.
But the good news is now there's none of that for Biden. Biden has nobody to stand in front of him. And so we were talking about, Brendan and I were talking about before you got in, it's he had all these blockers for the first 75 yards, and now he has an open path to the end zone, but he just has to not fumble the ball, and he's bobbling it this entire time. So we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.